Wake your ass up
or take a damn nap.
And we're the three best friends that anybody could have.
It's time.
Sean, you were twerking. That's going to happen.
Murph, don't be a dick all your life.
It's one of the more fun podcasts I've ever done.
Hey, I tell you what, if you're not talking about sports in the man cave, I better not say you not a man.
That's it.
Hey, if you have not heard of this guy's name, RJ Martinez, he is the fresh new face added to Baylor's roster. I was telling RJ before we started this episode, there's so many changes going on at Baylor. You're just a part of all the new additions on that campus in a program which has been a proven winner the last 5 or 6 years. RJ, welcome home and welcome to Stories Inside the Man Cave.
Thank you. No, I appreciate you having me. It's great to be back for sure.
Before we dive into his story, because there's going to be a lot of valuable lessons for young quarterback, young players that people could learn from RJ. We want to give a shout out to Jim Saxton, State Farm Insurance Agency, and ATX OG, Westlake OG, a former Longhorn legacy. And it feels like he's probably been insuring Austin for about 3 decades. So if you want it done right and someone you can rely upon, give Jim Saxton State Farm. And check out the new offices on South Lamar for all of your insurance needs. This guy gets it done. Now, first and foremost, I've got a little surprise for you. I'm going to bring him in shortly in a couple of minutes. You're a product of Westwood High School. For those who are not familiar, it's in Austin, but it's in the Round Rock Independent School District. When you were being recruited, RJ, you put up some phenomenal numbers in Anthony Wood's offense, like so many quarterbacks have. But what was it about the recruiting process? Because you ended up at Northern Arizona University and then made the switch here the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, so, the recruiting process is obviously long and grueling. For me, it was really started, I want to say, around my sophomore year, going into junior year. Kind of started with a few small schools, and then after my junior year, where I feel like I had a breakout season, it started picking up. I've started getting interest from bigger schools. Obviously, my last game of my junior year, I broke multiple state records by really good football players like Kyler Murray and Johnny Manziel. So breaking those records meant a lot to me, obviously. And, leaving my junior year on that note, obviously left, a lot of college coaches wanting to recruit me. And so it was really exciting, really excited during that time. But, unfortunately, me, the whole country, the whole world got impacted by COVID, and that whole kind of process and ordeal that happened. And so with that, just a lot of the recruiting stopped. Couldn't go to camps, couldn't go on visits. People had already been offered, so they were just kind of taking what they had. And so kind of really left me with, a few FCS options, and I still prayed about it. I still prayed about, if this is, to God, that is this where I'm supposed to be? Is this, going to impact me and, set me up for success later on? Because, like everyone else, there was a lot of uncertainty during that time. So, still prayed about it, still, made sure it was the right decision for me. And ultimately, it led me going to Northern Arizona. And, I loved my time there, really enjoyed it. It helped me grow as a person, as a student, as an athlete. And so I just led me out there. But that's kind of how my recruiting process worked. I know it was a lot different than everyone else because everyone else had senior year to do camps and visits and all of that. And that's kind of when most of your recruiting gets picked up anyways. I didn't have that. So, a little bit different, but, it still ended up working out the way God wanted it to. So
absolutely. And that's a message I think a lot of people need to hear. You end up where you're supposed to, and just stay the course. For those, and I hope I've got the right video for this, because I know your high school coach and I are buddies, and a lot of people who I know are connected to high school football. Everybody was so excited when you got in. I think it was your freshman year you were playing up FBS, playing Arizona. You're a Northern Arizona Lumberjack. I'm a Lumberjack from Stephen F. Austin, by the way. It's a battle who's the real Lumberjacks, but NAU, you guys have been a little bit more successful. But this is where RJ really, truly, and I hope this is the right video, got his name not on the map, but when the nation really started to take notice post-COVID, so to speak.
Little play action. Kempton, the tight end. The fire to the end zone, and the pass is caught. Coleman Owen hauls it in for the touchdown.
Beating an FBS opponent on their home field, right down the road from you guys, Flagstaff, down to Tucson. I mean, that moment for you, was your phone lit up just with so many text messages and whatnot for about a week?
Yeah, it was, it was a great experience for me, being able to go in there and really lead my team to a big time victory, something that hadn't been done in, let's say, 80 years at Northern Arizona, and being able to be a part of that, being my first game action in college and being in an atmosphere like that. I mean, it was truly special. And, obviously, a lot of people pouring in their support for me, knowing that, I ended up playing that game and we ultimately ended up winning. And, I was a big orchestrator of that. And, that really meant a lot. I mean, getting, texts and calls from, friends, family, coaches, different people that have supported me throughout this journey that I've had. It was just meant a whole lot. I mean, I wasn't expecting to play that game. I was running the scout team the whole week. And then just being able to go in there and, lead my team to a victory like that. It was truly special. And, it couldn't have been done without, my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Couldn't have been done without my teammates, the coaches, training staff. I mean, it was really a full team effort. I mean, the defense got us 2 turnovers late to allow that touchdown to happen. And so it's just it was just a great experience, and just allowed me to really feel confident, throughout the rest of my college career.
So that did help your resume into the transfer portal. You're now just in your second week in Waco. But one thing you'll always be is a Westwood Warrior for life. And, I got a little surprise for you. He knows a little bit about Westwood Warrior football, just a little bit. Coach Wood. This was a last-minute request. I didn't expect it to happen. RJ, you did this on last minute too, but Anthony Wood, there's going to be a bronze statue one day from this guy over there in Northwest Austin. But you've seen plenty of your quarterbacks. But RJ, man, how do you describe this guy? I mean, he stayed the course during a hard time for young men going through recruitment. You heard him what he said. That's got to be depressing to go through what these kids did.
It really was. But RJ's resilient. He's had to battle for everything that he's gotten, and he's always come out on top. I mean, he's everywhere he's been, he starts at the bottom and works his way up, and he always ends up at the top. It just goes back to his work ethic and him believing in himself, and he proves it over and over and over again how talented he is. But on top of that, his talent, is one thing, but RJ as a person, he's infectious. You just want to be around him.
RJ, what did you learn through with Coach Wood and that entire staff? I mean, I've only been back to Austin 10 or 11 years. Majority of that time has been dedicated to high school football and following guys like you, making friends for, life with all of you. But those offenses, Westwood's always had those prolific offenses. What was that? You had 70 pass attempts in one game. What was that, Cedar Ridge maybe?
Yeah, I was 76 to be exact. Yeah, threw a lot that game. So what was your question? Sorry.
That's all right. I think there's a prolific offense. I know Sean Bell is on the Baylor staff. I think he was at Cedar Ridge when you had that game, correct? Or am I wrong on that?
Coach Wood would know better than me. He would know better than me. Yeah, was he there? I don't know.
No, Sean, Coach Bell had left the year before.
Okay. Yeah. Look, now I'm showing my age because I can't remember anything at all. And my name's not RJ. I'm not as good as he is. I don't deserve that. I got to put my name up there. But these college coaches knew what you could do the entire time. And Coach Wood, when you were trying to help him navigate all that and tell him, hey, Northern Arizona is a great opportunity, was there ever any conversations of saying, stay the course, there may be opportunities for you because of the evolution of the transfer portal?
RJ's pretty intelligent person. I mean, right. He had a plan. He executed his plan well. Back then, even 2 to 3 years ago, the transfer portal still wasn't as huge as it is now. And so I don't think, I know he didn't ever go into Northern Arizona thinking, okay, well, I'll perform well for 2 years and then move on. I think RJ's plan. It's this is how it's worked out. He had the opportunity to play early, beat out quite a few older kids in the Northern Arizona program. Had a great freshman year, had an outstanding sophomore season. And I really think, and I don't want to put words in RJ's mouth, but, I think the distance has a lot to do with it,
Right.
RJ's very family oriented. He comes from a great family, got a great mom and dad, and has a unbelievable brother. So I think distance probably had a lot to do with it, but RJ has goals in mind, and I think he's been able to reach his goals every time he's set them.
Now so RJ, when you look at this and what Coach said, you're very grounded. For those who don't know him, I think you can tell that really quick. Intelligent, cerebral guy, and that's what and a guy that's really cool under pressure. And that's what every coach or anyone wants as a QB. But when you look at this, and Coach, kind of alluded to it, 4,500 yards plus for your 2 years at Northern Arizona, and you have that threat with your feet. Was it ever – what was the selling point for you when you realized, okay, the way college football is, and it's nothing against Northern Arizona, that's a good football program. It really is. It's a beautiful place, by the way. When you look back now, you just made that transfer to Baylor. If you could offer young people or young up-and-coming talents how to navigate that transfer portal, what do you tell them? Is it like looking at this like a resume, or how does that work?
Yeah, so I think what it boils down to, at the end of the day, is what are your goals? And what I mean by that is, is your goals to play? Is your goal to play? Is your goal to get a great education? Is your goal to be closer to home? There's a lot of different wants, a lot of different goals that someone might have that would make them want to think about entering a transfer portal. And so I think, one thing that I'd probably tell to most players, if, they're thinking about entering the transfer portal and going that route, is knowing exactly what it is you want and sticking to that throughout the process. Because, there were times throughout this process. I was in the transfer portal for, I want to say 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And I went in with an initial want. And then there would be a week where that would change, or I'd get discouraged and it'd want me to, go somewhere else, or it would just, keep pulling me, and tugging me each way. But at the end of the day, when I ultimately made this decision, it boiled down to, what it is that I ultimately wanted when I entered the transfer portal.
Yeah. And that's amazing. That's because I think that's great advice that I think a lot of people your age or younger could benefit from. Because I would venture to say a lot of people don't know how. They just want to enter their name in it, and hopefully someone sees it. And that's just what it looks like on the outside. Because I'm ignorant to the situation. I just hear rumors and read tweets. That's it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's on the outside looking in, it can seem a little different. But me being on the inside and me being through that and having gone through that, I also learned a lot, to be quite honest with you. I mean, it was like I didn't have all the answers, when I went in. I prayed about it. I talked with multiple people that I trust. And then I ultimately just stepped out on faith into the transfer portal. And like I had said earlier, it just boils down to, what it is you want. If you want to play, well, then, you gotta, go where, they don't have as big a quarterback room. Or if it's about getting good education, then, go to the school that gives you good education, and for me, that's kind of what it boiled down to, because with football, it's not guaranteed every year. I mean, you can play week 1 and then be hurt the rest of the year. It's not always guaranteed. So, for me, it was, about, getting a great education, being closer to home. I'm only an hour and a half away, hour and 20 minutes from my family now. And then ultimately being able to live out a dream of mine, playing at Baylor University. That was a dream of mine growing up. I'm from Austin, but I always watched Baylor games growing up, really loved, the Baylor football program, and, just really wanted to, live out that dream of mine. And so that's kind of, it ended up playing out that way, I thank God for that, obviously. But ultimately, that's kind of why, some of the things and reasons why, I ultimately, wanted to explore the transfer portal. And like I said, it's for anyone that's planning on doing it, thinking about doing it. You just, really need to evaluate, what it is you want, and so that's kind of really all I would really, say to someone that would think about entering the transfer portal.
And I got to interrupt. The Cowboys playing right now, NFC divisional playoff. I just want to calm the nerves of the Twitterverse. Brett Maher made a field goal. That's terrible, because kickers honestly have the toughest job up here. Your candidate is awful. Hopefully someone takes that as a joke, I hope. But Coach Wood, you see RJ, I think he's walking into a great system at Baylor. What we've seen them, what they've been offensively, dating back to Art Briles to now, there's some similarities there as Baylor has evolved to different staffs. Where do you see him as he evolves as a quarterback there in that great system, as the Big 12 changes too?
I think RJ's presented himself with a great opportunity just to grow as a quarterback, competing against better competition, not only in games, but just every day in practice. He's going to be competing with, top tier quarterbacks at his position. He's going to have, Coach Bell is a great quarterback coach. He's got a great offensive coordinator. He's got the surroundings around him so he can still grow as a player. And, RJ is going to continue to learn, continue to grow. And I think that's an opportunity that he will reach out and seize when given the opportunity. So I think overall, I'm super happy for RJ. It even goes back to, even when I want to say it was the summer before his sophomore year, he went to a camp at Baylor. It was wow. Baylor's always been his number one choice. And now that he's got the opportunity to suit up and play for the Bears, I'm super excited. My wife's entire family lives in Waco. Oh. So it'll be a lot easier to hop in the car and come watch rather than hop on a plane. So I'm just super excited for RJ. This young man puts in work constantly. Even when he's home on break, he's like, Coach, can I borrow some football so I can still throw? He does not stop working. He's got great work ethic, and that's the thing I think a lot of young players don't understand is what it takes to play at the caliber that those quarterbacks play at. And RJ, he lives by the motto, no days off. This young man never takes a day off. He's constantly working. So, and it's proven because, he's not an oversized kid, but he's developed an incredibly strong arm with great accuracy and truly understands the game of football. He studies it. He understands it. He's an extension of the coaching staff on the field. He made it really easy towards the end of his junior year and his entire senior year as a play caller, because he had the ability to change plays, find matchups, and do the things where I just got to I had a great seat. I was a great spectator sometimes on the sideline, just allowing him to do some of the things that he was able to do.
That's impressive. That even adds to it. All these ties to Waco. And RJ, I did not know that about you growing up, wanting to be a Baylor Bear, and then Coach Wood's wife's family in Waco. So, it just goes back. I wasn't joking when I say we end up where we belong. I'm a big fan of Sean Bell, and because he was a Baylor quarterback. Mm-hmm. What have you been told? Oh my God, that was a great play. I'm so sorry that we decided that I asked how to do it this time. You're missing some good football. I can tell you all about it afterwards, I promise. It's hard. It would seem to me, if I'm in your shoes, it would be hard not to want to play for a guy like Sean Bell, who is going to directly coach you in what I think is a quarterback-friendly system. Am I in the neighborhood right there?
Yeah, no, Coach Bell, I've known him a while. Obviously, he has a great relationship with Coach Wood. He coached at Cedar Ridge. He's been on Baylor staff for a few years now. So, when I attended those camps, I knew Coach Bell, and I talked with him several times. And I think the most important thing that I got from him from back then, and even throughout this transfer portal process, is he doesn't just care about you as a player. He cares about you as a person. He cares about you spiritually, as a student, and that makes you really want to play for a guy. It just makes you makes you just want to push yourself and get better every day, and makes you want to play harder for a guy that you have a great relationship with. And so, Coach Bell, like I said, I've known him a long time, through Coach Wood and things like that. And that's kind of the main thing I took away from all of this, because like I said earlier, football can be taken from you at any point. And I think a lot of people often get distracted from that aspect of it. They think that, injuries don't happen, or, coaching staffs don't happen, and coaching staff changes, don't happen, and things like that. So they lose focus on where it is they want to be, and for me, that's Baylor, that's Waco. For someone else, that may be somewhere different, and I think we, like, even myself, just find ourselves not really thinking about that. But, ultimately, that's what it boils down to, and so, yeah, if you're right on with Coach Bell being a guy that, most quarterbacks would want to play for. But it goes just past his knowledge of the game and him being able to coach me as a player, and that's, really important to me. So, yeah, you're definitely in the right ballpark with that. So
I'm right 50% of the time. It's not. I'm definitely not 100 and far from it. Coach Wood, you did battle against him. You coached against him, meaning Sean Bell, when he was at Cedar Ridge, and I know you remember his time when he was a quarterback at Baylor. And hey, FYI, people don't know, Coach Wood here was a pretty good receiver for the then Southwest Texas State Bobcats. A mutual friend of ours, Johnny High, ran the wishbone, so you didn't get the ball thrown to you too much, I assume.
No, I was a heck of a blocker. We used to just say we were just wide tackles. We were just wide tackles. We had a good time. We had a really good time there. John High's a great guy. He was an unbelievable quarterback, super fast. Had a good time playing with John.
So what can you tell me when recruiters come in? I know it is about relationships and helping kids find places to continue playing and education and all that. But when Sean Bell walks in your office, what can you guarantee one of your kids, your players and their parents, if Sean Bell and Baylor are talking to you about them?
You're going to be treated the right way. I mean, ultimately, as a parent and as a player, you want to know that your son's being taken care of, or he's taking care of you. And I think that's what Sean and Coach Aranda and that staff there, I think that's what they're going to do is and RJ said it best, your football career can end at any time. Yeah. And so you want to be surrounded around people that truly care about you as a person. And I think that's the draw to Baylor right now is they've surrounded their staff with really good people that truly care about their players. And so that's really the sticking point. And it is about relationships, and it's about integrity, and it's about, how you go about your everyday life. And Coach Bell's an unbelievable person, comes from a great family. In fact, I've known Sean since he was a high school quarterback. So it's been a long relationship. And so I'm super happy that RJ's getting an opportunity to work with Coach Bell.
That's fantastic. I love it. And that's one thing. It's so funny how it's not just because I was on the media side at one point for a long time, but there's certain people that you continue to follow. And RJ's, you've been one of those, just to follow the process. And I felt like a fanboy when you got in against Arizona. And then I just said, I'm going to keep an eye on them because I think this is going to create more opportunities. Hey, manscaping in the man cave. We can't avoid it. We all need it. It's not vital. It's not mandatory. But manscaped.com, this is what I like to say. All the products for our significant others, a lot of them don't want us to resemble the German Black Forest below the belt. So they have all these tools, everything. And are you guys manscaped.com tool users by any chance?
No. Am I getting a promo? Is it so? Yeah, I'll start using it.
They have these new. They're supposed to be shipped here pretty soon. I mean, beard trimmers. They're going way above because the Lawnmower 4.0 is waterproof. Trust me, and it's But if you use the Man Cave 20 promo code, 20% off your order. It's well worth it. To all of you viewers out there who are fans of RJ, Northern Arizona, and even Baylor University now, let's see which of you use the Man Cave 20 promo code. Put it's either for Baylor Bears or the Westwood Warriors. I want to hear that. I want to see it on Twitter. In fact, we'll start it. We're going to do it in honor of RJ and Coach Wood and see how many promo codes can be used in the comment section. We like to end these segment ones with the Man Cave story brought to you by Jim Saxton State Farm Insurance Agency. Usually these are absolutely comical. Is there a Man Cave story that maybe you two shared that occurred in the locker room while at Westwood, or any moment that you guys, every time you see each other, if something is hinted about it, you guys crack up constantly or laughing about it all the time about a certain moment that may have happened while you guys were there at Westwood together?
You know, the one I constantly, it truly goes back to the Cedar Ridge game. It was our last game of the year, and I told RJ, hey, we're going to throw it every play. And he goes, no, we won't, Coach. I said, yeah, we will. And by the end of the first quarter, I think we had about 25 passes in the first quarter. And basically he's like, Coach, you weren't kidding, were you? I'm like, no, let's just go ahead and do this the right way. And you know, what people don't realize that game is, you know, RJ, he threw the ball, I guess, 76 times, but he actually caught one of his passes to, you know, we had 50 completions, which tied a state record. And RJ actually caught one of his own deflected passes. So, but no, going into that game, it was like, hey, we're going to throw it every play. And he's like, no, you won't, Coach. Yeah, we will. And I think literally, I think we probably called maybe 5 runs the entire game and threw it every play. And all the runs he had were just quarterback scrambles. But
yeah,
that, and there's a couple other ones, but I don't think we'll share those.
Hey, what goes in the locker room sometimes, RJ, I think we can all say it's sacred. Doesn't
Oh, yeah. No, for sure. I mean, I have several, but they get pretty explicit, so I don't know. I don't know if I can really tell them, but
No.
but I mean, yeah, I'd love to, but I mean,
you may break code.
Yeah.
We don't want to break any codes.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I can't. I'd love to tell them. Maybe if I'm back when I'm back in Austin, you run into me, I'll tell you. But rather keep it off record for sure.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'll tell you what. I want to go by one of these days. I want to try to align my schedule with Coach Wood, and I'll scoop him up. We'll go up there and meet you for lunch, and we can share those when there's no electronic devices recording anything.
Yeah,
Sounds great.
Yeah, sounds great. Yeah.
Coach Wood, you got about 10 minutes left in you?
Sure.
We're going to take a very quick break, and we're going to wrap this thing up on the other side. We're going to have some fun. And we all know that social media can be a cesspool, but TikTok, it's amazing what the extensions that people have or the extents they'll go to be creative and tell stories that are fabricated. Yeah, you won't see me doing this, but it did. I laughed to myself for literally a minute straight. It's not something you'd hope your son or daughter would make, but it's pretty funny. Pretty funny. That's coming up on the other side of this break. For all of your insurance needs, look no further than our primary sponsor, Jim Saxton State Farm Insurance Agency. The ATX OG has been insuring Austin for over 3 decades. And get this, Jim Saxton is a Longhorn legacy. He is the son of the late, great James Saxton, who was a Heisman finalist. Be sure to give him a call, or better yet, visit his website, saxtoninsurance.com, and tell him that the stories inside the Man Cave Boys recommended you. Hey guys, I got to give a big shout out to one of our partners. I'm on the mentorship side. I don't know if you guys have heard of RBI Austin. It's been around for about 10 years. I got involved in 2015, mentoring a young man named Leontre, but there's also the baseball and softball. It's restoring baseball to the inner city. And when I got involved, we literally had 125 people show up to our beginning of the year, our biggest event called Now at Bat. Probably 125 people raised maybe $20,000. This past Friday, the Now at Bat, we've almost outgrown the JW Marriott. We raised a record $1 million in one night. And that's, I'm blown away. I've been riding a high since Friday night. It's one of those things you get. It's like, was that an emotion I just felt? Mm-hmm. But it's doing great things for the inner city kids of Austin and the entire Central Texas. Can underserved children can play softball, baseball in a competitive environment and mentorship program. And we are about to have our own home facility and just east of Austin, softball, baseball fields, and an indoor training facility.
Wow.
That's for academic enrichment and baseball and softball training. I'm almost tongue-tied. I just can't believe what just happened.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's
really good.
That's awesome.
Unbelievable. These two guys, these two esteemed gentlemen, RJ Martinez, Anthony Wood. He is one of the high school football coaching legends here in Central Texas. Talking about RJ, he just transferred from Northern Arizona to Baylor. And I think it's time for 3 questions with RJ. And I'll start with one, and Coach Wood, if you want to ask him one, and then we'll flip it, and RJ can ask us something, you know. But my first question, RJ, what is it that you do to keep balance in your life? Because football at the college level is basically a full-time job.
Yeah. Amen to that. Yeah. We'll say that's an important part of being a college athlete, because you often get, like you said, it's full-time job, so you often get sucked into, it being your identity and who you are. But I think one of the main things that I do to kind of combat that is just stay in constant prayer and constantly staying in prayer and meditating. I think that's really important for college athletes to get a perspective, because often, you're at the facility all the time, doing a lot of workouts, you're doing a lot of schoolwork. You can often get caught up in it, but ultimately that's that's not all there is to life. So just kind of taking that step back from life that I go through on a daily basis and bringing it back to perspective with meditation and prayer really helps me kind of get a balance with school and football, and being able to understand that that's not all my whole identity. So I think it's one of the main things that I do. I'd love to fish every day, but I can't. That'd be another thing I'd do every day, but can't do that. Not old enough for golf. Still athletic enough to go play basketball. It's probably more of Coach Wood's thing, because he's getting up there. So yeah, those are things I love to do. I'm just not old enough. So
I didn't know there was an age you had to reach there's a floor before you could start playing golf. That's the quote of the night so far. Not old enough for it yet.
There definitely is, for sure. I know there is. I know there is. Yeah.
Coach Wood, you got a question for your former QB?
Sure. RJ, with all the success that you had in high school, and and being able to sign a scholarship out of high school, it's one of the toughest scholarships to get in all of athletics, is to receive a quarterback scholarship, because there aren't very many out there. What advice would you give to a freshman in high school on what it takes to achieve that status, or reach that goal of wanting to be a Division I quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, a lot goes into it, obviously. But I think the main thing that it boils down to is being persistent. I know coming in as a freshman, going all kinds of camps, traveling the state, being involved in that kind of environment all the time, and being persistent in that, I think is probably the most important thing. I did that my freshman year, sophomore year, junior year, and then my senior year obviously got cut with that, but I was more than willing to keep doing that. But I just think it's persistence and recognizing that if let's say you have one really good game on varsity football or whatever level you're playing, don't kind of let that, give you a reason to be complacent. Because often, I feel like with younger kids and things like that, they may have one really good game and, they're on their high horse and they're really excited and that's great. But, just to stay, level headed and consistent and being the same, whether you had a good game or a bad game, and not getting too high or too low. So I'd really just say, keeping your head on straight, and then being able to be persistent, to be quite honest with you, and making sure that you're getting the right guidance from the right people, that understand your situation, understand what it is you're trying to achieve, and to hold you accountable to that. So that's kind of what I really say, for younger kid that's trying and looking to venture into that. And then also knowing that that's what you want, because like you said earlier, I mean, it takes a lot of work. It's not just something that, you can just kind of hope for or be like, well, it'll come my senior year or it'll come eventually, like it's you got to know you that's what you want. You got to know that, before it even happens. So then when it happens, you're ready for it. And so those are the kind of the main things that I'd say, is what it takes to, get there and to that point. So
that's a great answer. Now, RJ, if there was a question that you would like for us both to answer, what would that be?
Man, I'm not normally the one asking questions.
It's like flipping the switch, so to speak, turning the table.
I guess one question I ask is like, how do you guys know each other? Like how do you guys know each other? Did y'all play football against each other? Like how do you guys?
I think we missed each other about 6 years, right? Maybe.
Yeah, maybe a few more years than that.
I can answer. I was at KView. I took a job. I was in the Oklahoma City market. Austin's home for me. I'd known about Coach Wood for a while. Well, almost everybody does. And we just hit it off during when I was at KView, and then our mutual friend John High at Fox 7, and Coach can elaborate on that.
Yeah, RJ, when you get up, when you get to an age where that I'm at, is you really want to try to associate yourself with people who are like-minded or really have the same beliefs and stuff like that, and you look for good people, and so when I was able to meet Sean and through John and it was just a friendship that just kind of took off, and so you want to look for people that you can, if something was bad that was to happen, what type of people would you call and who would be willing to lend you a hand? And I think those are the people that you really want to surround yourself with. And Sean's one of those type of guys.
100%. I would definitely. You guys called, even though you're in Waco, RJ, I'd help you. Coach Wood, he knows, by the way, of some of the best hidden gems of Tex-Mex places, that one of which I had not gone to until he recommended it, and it's near the high school.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Pretty solid.
Yeah, no, he knows his food, for sure. He doesn't look it at all, but
stays in shape.
But yeah, oh yeah, he does. Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
With his do you want to know his secret diet? Then you should probably.
Please tell me.
You should probably ask him that.
Secret diet, what's
your secret diet?
Well, hey, if you're ever in my office, I've got a big container of M&Ms. So I love peanut M&Ms, and I drink Diet Coke and eat peanut M&Ms constantly. But RJ, since New Year's, I stopped drinking the Diet Cokes. I'm getting up in age. I'm actually just drinking water, staying off the sodas. But I'll never give up my M&Ms. I think they're the reason I'm as skinny as I am.
There's protein in that little peanut.
Yes, there is. Yes, that's what I tell myself every one I eat.
And diabetes potential with the rest.
Yeah.
For sure.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie. I love peanut butter and those peanut M&Ms. I don't buy them because of that reason.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and no one's allowed to stick their hand in my peanut M&M jar.
Not after COVID.
No.
That's what he thinks. So
RJ's hand has been there up to his wrist. Before.
I got a handful, just like 2 of them.
Hey, I think we all know TikTok is an interesting app. There's some comedy on there, but I think I'm going to go ahead and speak for all three of us. I think this has happened to us before. And all I'm going to say is when you get on an elevator with a crowd of people, there's always this potential. And no one ever claims it either.
I farted yesterday in Bass Pro Shop's elevator, which wouldn't have been a big deal because at the time when I did it, I was by myself. And then as soon as the gas left my body, a very old woman stuck her hand into the elevator door right as it was going to shut and opened it up. And her and her 2 other very old friends boarded the elevator with me and my flatulence. We went up to the next level. We all marinated in this gas, which was just absolutely amazing, I assure you. But if you can imagine that scene out of Braveheart where Mel Gibson's army clashes with the opposing army, that was them clashing with my fart. And I thought everything was good until when they got out, I heard one of the older women say I could taste that in my mouth. So have a good day. It's what I do now. I give senior citizens pink eye.
What do you say to that?
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah,
I just wanted to see the shot factor. I sat there and looked at it because I find one every week or each episode, and I literally stared at it. And before I knew it, it was over with. And did he just say all that?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
And then I started thinking, that's happened before. But I was not the culprit. I've always wanted to know why people would get on the elevator and do something like that.
Not sure. I can't tell you. I've never done it, so.
Don't know.
Hey, man, tell me something good.
Clearly, I'm getting tongue-tied and my brain is not functioning because I'm watching Dallas now trail 16-9, so that distracted me a little bit. We'll start with you, Coach Wood. Tell me something good in your world that you think people should know about that maybe should make them realize, you know what, it's not as negative as you think it is.
I think it's truly, it's not something that's just going good, but I truly think as adults and in the business that I'm in education, I truly think if people, understood the motto of kids don't care how much you know till they know how much you care, I think they would understand how much more they can get out of each other. Just because you have the role of being in charge, it doesn't mean that people will automatically listen. I think they truly, kids today want to have a reason why, And I think that reason why should be because this person absolutely cares about me.
Right.
And not as a player or not as a student, but as a person first and foremost. And I truly think if most people would really live by that I think you would see a lot more better discussions and a lot more people getting along a whole lot better. I just think caring is just the way to go. But now in through caring, you can get a whole lot done also. I think you can reach a lot more kids that way also.
Yeah.
And so that's something that I truly hopefully instill, along with RJ and stuff like that is, RJ and I have gone to battle. I mean, we've had discussions where he didn't agree what I was doing. I didn't agree what he was doing. But in the end, I think he truly understood that I truly care about him. And the same goes both ways. And so when you set that relationship, I think you can get a lot more accomplished that way.
I like that because communication is of extreme importance. You hear people say to another person, well, I feel this way. Well, did you tell this individual?
Mm-hmm.
Just communicate, express yourself. Mm-hmm. I mean, RJ, is there something related to that or something that from your generation that, maybe it quantifies or qualifies as something good that could inspire somebody?
Yeah, I mean, I think, like I was saying, communication is big, and being able to make sure that no matter what kind of occupation you have or situation you have, family you have, I think it's important to know that person cares about you first, and then being able to tell them what it is, like what Coach Wood said. And I think communication's huge in every aspect, every relationship, every program, every opportunity, every business, whatever it is. I think communication's huge. And it's kind of unfortunate just because, I just feel like that, this generation kind of is pulled away from that, whether it's because of the phones or, being able to just text it or call it or being able to do that, just kind of takes away from that a little bit. And also takes away from the connection a little bit with someone that you might care about. So, I agree with both you guys. Being able to communicate is huge, obviously, and being able to care about the person first, and then being able to, tell them what is just as important. Because I have countless stories with Coach Wood when I played in his program where, like you said, we might have disagreed, but ultimately I knew he had my best interest at heart. And so that made it easier to kind of be able to, find a happy medium with him and knowing that, he had my best interest in mind. And so being able to compromise that way and being able to, live with that and being able to know that that's what's best for you. Obviously Coach Wood in my situation and the team, it just went a long way. And that's kind of where I first found that's kind of something that you'd want with a coach. But obviously that's, whether that's a spouse, whether that's a employer, employee, whatever it is, that's kind of what you want, and so definitely agree with both of you guys on that.
Yeah, Coach, he's wise beyond his years. He really is. There's no doubt in my mind. And that one thing I've noticed, and I don't remember exactly how you said it, RJ, but I've noticed that there's always this, I don't know, there's a lack of a bridge between generations. It's kind of amusing. But I think we learned from your generation, like having a conversation like this, just every day. I know I'm learning every day because there's so many things new happening that you guys, as your generation, Gen Z, that we can benefit from and then mutual. We all benefit from each other, trying to bridge the gap, so to speak. And having said that, gentlemen, I appreciate you guys doing this on a short notice. And, the Man Cave has had some legendary stories, and you guys just added to that. Some great chapters to it. And we're excited for you, RJ.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me. It was definitely fun for sure.
So for Coach Wood, the Westwood Warrior coaching legend, and RJ, the Warrior for life, and the new Baylor Bear quarterback, I know he loves, and I know his family loves hearing that. And for the OG Man Cave boys, that being Big Mike, Coach Mo, and Hardball Harge. Yeah.
You see the dripping, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up.